We weren't even live on the Red app yet.
That simply work inside today's downloads because the root nodes you choose, this is where the magic happens. There's no magic in building a chord by skip one, right? Or just changing how the notes flow in voicing. This is not hard. The hard part is getting the right progression because it will define the vibe of your track. As soon as you have a progression like that, you can always experiment by adding just random notes to it. Let's say we add this one here, and this one here.
Sounds bad.
This didn't work well. Let's try this one.
No, I know. I know.
Too many notes over here.
I know what you're saying. Now he's just placing shit. So I'm gonna wait till he's done and then.
If you stick to the scale and just build first the progression and then build basic chords out of that, and only then start to play with duplicating the root note and octave lower, or changing the voicing and then adding some notes here and there, there's just no way you'll write a bad sounding chord progression. Now we'd like to add another simple element like a melody on top of our chords. Think of it like a lead melody of a guitar on top of the keyboard.
Okay, so we're keeping those chords. Okay, so now this is what I need to copy. Gorman, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna add the lead melody.
Now we'd like to add another simple element like a melody on top of our chords. Think of it like a lead melody of a guitar on top of the keyboard or a vocal on top of a guitar. For that, I'd like to use a synthesizer so we can blend the realistic piano sound with a synth. Also, that's a great chance for me to show you the best free VST synthesizer, and that is Vital. Let's Google it, and you can go down and click on Basic, which is for free. Then just create an account, and then you'll be able to download it. There's no need to upgrade to Plus or Pro. They mainly just differ in the amount of presets that come by default pre-installed, but in today's downloads you'll find a ton of presets for you to choose from. So let's install this. Installation is complete. We can go again to Options, File Settings, Manage Plugins, and again find installed plugins, and then just search for our Vital. You might see a couple of different versions of it. I always prefer to use...
See, I'm already here because I have, like, I've done this part, so I already have this all downloaded.
The VST3 format is the newest one. Now we can close it, go to Plus, and hit on Vital. You can click on work of...
It's just he started lesson 3 and was like, so the thing we made yesterday. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't save that, bro. Like I don't have it. So I had to go back into lesson 2. And that's what I'm doing right now, building all of this to start lesson 3.
Or log in again. And now don't get intimidated. This is a full design sound design you have pre-installed. If it doesn't, Vital preset downloads, double click on it, you'll find it over here. Pretty cool stuff. We have a course that covers Vital in depth, so you can make
Oh, I bought myself a MIDI controller. It comes tomorrow.
any sounds you have in your head. If you feel like it, you can definitely go in and play around with those settings, especially with the macros on the left, which quickly change how those presets sound. Now, let's go back to our piano roll and now open up the Vital piano roll so we can write the melody on top of our chords. Let's make our piano a little bit louder and our pluck a little bit quieter. All right, so when it comes to writing melodies, a pretty good idea if you want to skip all the music theory and just like play around yourself is go to your typing keyboard to piano keyboard button and right click it. It will show up the layout. And the trick here is to choose the exact same layout we've chosen for our piano roll. So we chose the...
Marvy, stop! Marvel! Come on, go with your dad. Good boy. Okay.
C sharp minor harmonic. So let's choose C sharp and minor harmonic. Now
Okay,
your
we're good.
typing keyboard will only play the notes in the right scale, starting from Z. This was A and Q and 1. So you will only be
Okay,
in
we're doing
scale,
it.
and now
We're getting
you can
somewhere.
just play around with a rhythm. I would start, for example, with a root note of your track, which in this case will be Z, A, Q, or 1 on your keyboard. So we can do something like this. So I'll try to improvise something. Right? Very, very simple. We can also record that if you want by arming the record button, changing it to only notes, and then we can enable the countdown before recording and start. Right? Very, very simple. And now we can unarm the record. Let's figure out something even better. First framework for writing melodies that I'd like you to follow is just to write a simple melody only on top of the notes that we've already written when putting down your chords. So you can see in the piano roll those gray so-called ghost notes. If you don't see them, you can go to View and Ghost Channels.
I want to make sure I have the same settings as him. I think I do. Okay, we're good.
Or simply hit Alt and V. So you can see if we hit Alt and V, the other channel we have over here will show up as ghost notes.
Yo,
So we can
Duck,
just
thanks for the
follow
likes.
the notes like this, for example.
Bro just threw something together. I'm fucking it up.
right? And that was pretty cool already. Let's try it out.
I mean, it's a vibe.
Maybe you can go a little bit out of those chord notes, but still with snap to scale enabled. The idea here is to never keep the rhythm all the time the same. So as you can see, if I were to take all of those notes into one note, this is the rhythm of our melody. You can see that every bar has a different kind of rhythm. So if you'd like to take this approach, you can choose the paint tool and paint over all the notes, and then just maybe even like delete some of them.
He teaches this and then he says, but this is a bad way to do it, which is funny to me, but still, it's whatever.
Right? Maybe I don't like really the last part, so let's do it like this. And now, after we've got your random rhythm, basically, right? We go and change up the notes. So we can go down on up or higher like this. Doesn't really matter. We'll hear how it sounds in a second. Completely random.
I'm trying to, this is weird. His is like thicky. And I don't know. His is thicker than mine, chat, and I'm jealous. Okay, anyways.
This technique with coming up with rhythms first and then changing up the notes doesn't really work as good as the first technique I showed you. Because it goes completely random. Here it goes down, here it goes up, up, and up. And instead we would like it to kind of like maybe flow like this, right? So that's why this technique with rhythms can get you somewhere. It will not necessarily be a good direction. However, the third really good technique is just creating something repetitive and then repeating it 2 or 3 times in each of those bars, and then in the fourth bar, changing it. Okay, so let's try it out. And then just copy it 2 times. So I'll just take it, holding shift, copy it 2 times, and then maybe since those guys were going up, 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 we can go down on the fourth to change it up a little bit and create some kind of question, right? And answer. This is what we usually do when creating melodies. Maybe
I don't like that as
something
much as the
else.
first thing he did. He's like, maybe something else, and then he totally just gets rid of it.
cheesy, not going to lie, but as you can see, it works. The best way will always be just trying out and adjusting in real time. So start writing the first bar of your melody, check if you like it, and changing one note at a time and not necessarily start all over
Hey,
again,
Charlene.
getting
How you
frustrated
doing?
because it just doesn't sound nice. So there's a third technique. And the fourth one is actually the one that I've showed you in the very, very beginning. By choosing the correct layout of your typing keyboard and playing around.
Doing good? Good to hear. Good to hear.
Let's say I played a nice melody, but I have not saved it. Fortunately, FL Studio always records your MIDI even if you're not recording. For that, you can go to Tools and dump Score Log to selected pattern last 2 minutes. You can zoom out using Control and Scroll, and then zoom in using also Control and Scroll up. And then again, we'll mark, I think, this part. I'll copy it with Control C, and then with Control A, delete everything, and then scroll back and paste.
I missed
those
so
guys
much
back
just
here,
there.
and we'll take all this part.
Jorking it, and by it. Uh-oh.
If you see that some notes are very close to your chords, you can put them into the chord note. It, for example,
Okay, 1 second.
here or here, it should better fit into the chords. I like it a lot. This is something I played by accident on a typing keyboard, and we have full course just about writing chords and melodies, but those are the essentials you need to know to start creating your melodies and harmonies. Now we covered the mids with our keyboard and melody. The one thing I think you'll love.
Okay, let's get this down. Okay, he has them like shorter, so I have to keep that in mind. Oh no, it's not A5, it's F5? F sharp 5. Okay. I think I'm doing it right. Why is this so tough? Why am I so bad at this so far? I believe in you. Thank you. I'm trying. Thanks for sharing the live too. I appreciate it. think that's what he's got.
is also making a bass line. It's very easy because we'll take what we already have. Let's add another instance of Vital. Go into our presets and check one of the basses.
No, we're adding another instance of Vital.
Let's take this one. Open the piano roll.
Wait.
And we'll...
Wait. And my Vital won't save here, and I don't know why. I keep having to go into... Anyways. That's not what I want. No. There we go. Okay, which one did he pick?
Follow. Let's take this one.
Okay, he picked this.
Open the piano roll and we'll follow the root notes of our track. We have the ghost notes open, but since we changed the voicing, you might not actually remember which note of these was the root note. But that's actually also a pretty cool exercise. So let's try finding the root note. The root note of a chord or a root note of a whole track, right? We can find by trying to hear if it sounds
Kara
like
or Kara,
home,
thank you for the follow.
right? This is
I
pretty
appreciate
funny,
it.
but let's try from the top, see if this note feels like home of this chord, okay? I don't know. Let's try this one. Not really. And this one? Okay, this definitely feels like home. If you don't feel it, just try to practice and try to even like hum what will be the home without hearing the bass note itself. So it will be C sharp over here. And then maybe let's take it an octave lower or even one octave even lower. Let's hear how it sounds even with just one root note. This even
All of
by
this
itself
just
could
to
be like
get back
this,
to where
but
I
let's
left
try
off, I
to
swear.
find the root note of the
I'm
other
so
chord.
stupid. His little hum.
I think it's F sharp. Yep. And then this feels pretty good. Let's see. We can go octave lower with the C, but I would not suggest you go any lower than this because the bass will start to sound pretty weak. Keep that in
Yeah,
mind
it
to not
does.
go too low with your bass. And if you'd like to make the bass progression even darker or even more, emotional, you can just extend the first root note and simplify it like this. Sounds super cool because the chords change, but the bass stays the same.
Okay. Sounds pretty dope.
Inside the macros, our presets have those enabled so we can quickly change how the bass sounds.
I don't think we're gonna do that though.
today's homework is to first play around.
Day 3, we're finally
Today we'll do
back.
the second half of production stage, that is drums, and then we'll get into a little bit of arranging. So with drums, we have the same rule as yesterday. The better quality sound we start with, the better it will end up.
Now we're gonna
Sure,
download
tomorrow
something
we'll
and
get
start
into
something
mixing,
new.
and you'll see that we can turn even a really basic instrument into something that's totally unrecognizable. However, gold in equals gold out. So why not start with something exciting right away? That's why yesterday we've already installed the Labs and Vital plugin to not rely on the stock instruments. So today I've prepared for you an amazing collection of drum sounds, and these sounds are used by top tier artists worldwide so that you have the best starting point possible. And spoiler alert, in the music production community, buying sample packs in specific styles is pretty common, but the one you get at the end of this video we made pretty huge, so you will not have to spend any extra money for any other sample pack.
Let's go.
Months. This loop we've made yesterday feels a little bit trappy, so let's build trap drums. We could build in the same pattern as we have here, but since it's pretty long, we would have to like fill all of the drums over, and we don't really need that much. Usually only 4 beats. As you can see, every beat is distinguished by different color. So what we can do is click on the plus or scroll up, and it will pop up another pattern for us, and we can build the drums over here. You probably also would like to hear
Okay,
the drums on top of the instrumental. So what we can do is go back and choose the pattern 1 and place it in our playlist view, and then scroll up and place another pattern, just like that, and then just basically duplicate it. So we have it 4 times. So whatever we built right now, as you can see, it pops up in the arrangement view as well. Now we can just go and turn the song mode so we can hear both patterns at the same time. Let's use those stock drums first, and then I'll show you how big of a difference using a quality sound makes. So trap drums will start with a hi-hat. This is this kind of sound. And we can go and right click on the insert, and here you'll find a couple of automatic fills to save a little bit of time. So as you can see, it just filled every second step.
Wait, how did he do that?
And right click on the insert, and here you'll find a couple of automatic fills to save a little bit of time. So as you can see, it just filled every second step.
I started out almost the exact same time as him.
For the snare, which sounds like that, we'll put it on
Matt, Demon Slayer, Tuesday, 9:35. Like going to see a movie? Yeah, if I'm off work, I'm down.
beat number 3 and beat number 7. And since each beat starts with the new color, so we'll place it on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it repeats, so it's 5, 6, 7, right? So you can just leave it like that. Then for the kick drum, you can place it on any start of the beat or half of the beat where it feels good for you. Usually the drums, create the groove and the rhythm, so we want to show people where's the start of the beat. That's why I'll put the kick.
I have to book. There's 2 seats left on the last day of showing. Okay, book it. I'll just pay you back if I can't go. Or I'll pay you regardless of if I can go or not.
Just like the fundamental of your drums on the starting beat. Let's turn down our instruments a little bit. Doesn't sound any good at all because our drum pattern, especially the kick, should be at least 2 bars long. And for now, we just have.
Wait, he turned down the instruments a little bit. Mine was not that quiet. That sounds way better.
But 1 bar long. And the bars you can clearly see in the arrangement view. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and the beats are the vertical lines in between. And then beats you also have visible in the channel rack easily, looking by the color, so that we have 4 beats in a bar and 4 steps in a beat. So what we can do is remove those 2 patterns and extend them. So we have it double size like that. And now we need to add more hi-hats like this. As you can see, in arrangement also changed. So now we also add a snare. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait. Slow down, Padre.
Five, 6, and 7. So we place it here. And then let's make a variation of the kick drum.
Oh, he's switching it up. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Anywhere on the
How you doing?
Or the starting. So let's maybe try something random like that. Right? Don't go over the top. Drums, especially in trap music, are only to keep the rhythm going and not necessarily be in the highlight, right? So
I'm doing good. I was really tired when I started streaming, but I chugged some coffee. I'm doing better. Wait, you just got rid of it all. I can't keep up with this guy.
Also create a little bit longer variation. So for example, in this part, create drums as we have right now. And here, just make a variation of the kick. What you can do is click on the pattern and make it unique. It will now rename it to the pattern number 3. Another thing you could do is also just go into the pattern options and clone it, right? So it would create another one. We already have it here. So let's make a kick variation like this. Maybe we can just go with some extra kicks like this at the end. Right? We keep it very simple with the snare and hat for now and just play around with the kick. Now, let's change up the drum sounds, okay? Trust me when I say this, but there are many tracks with as simple drum pattern like this one, but just use amazing sounds. So how do we install the sample packs? First, as you get today's downloads, you'll see some sample packs inside. They usually look like this. We have different...
Okay, I have to go to the downloads. 1 second.
types of sounds sorted in different folders. So just take the sample packs and place them somewhere on your computer where you know you'll not be touching them anymore. Because if you do change the path, FL will not know where to look for them, right? So keep them in one place and then just simply drag and drop them into your browser. Super easy. We need to do this one by one. And you can see we have those two packs already here. So let's take the Supreme Drums Volume 1 and first find a cool kick drum. You can open the folder and just with your arrow down scroll through the sounds. Let's take the kick 1 and just simply drag it over the current kick we had. Now let's exchange the snare. We look for snare or...
Wait, my shit fucked up. Wait, sir.
Sounds. So how do we install the sample pack?
Why do we have like day 2, day 3? Why did it bring all of that in? Wait. I just want this. How do I delete it then? That's not it.
First, as you get today's downloads, you'll see some sample packs inside. They usually look like this.
It just like transferred course downloads day 2, course downloads day 3, day 1. I don't want this. What am I fucking doing? Homebrewed, learning to make beat. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. I'm fucking up right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I think I deleted a whole folder. I think I'm okay. Why did this do this? Okay, whatever. We're just gonna keep going. I have what I need. We're just gonna keep going.
Different types of sounds sorted in different folders. So just take the sample packs and place them somewhere on your computer where you know you'll not be touching them anymore. Because if you do change the path, FL will not know where to look for them, right? So keep them in one place and then just simply drag and drop them into your browser. Super easy. We need to do this one by one. And you can see we have those two packs already here. So let's take the Supreme Drums Volume 1 and first find a cool kick drum. You can open the folder and just with your arrow down, scroll through the sounds. Let's take the kick 1 and just simply drag it over the current kick we had. Now, let's exchange the
fucked
snare.
something
we look
up.
for snare or clap. They usually sound pretty similar. Claps are more high-end focused.
Oh, they're there.
So a little bit more bright, and snares are a little bit more punchy.
So we're doing, okay. Fuck's sake. So he wants kick 1 there, and then snare.
Let's take this one.
Snare 33. Okay. I think we're good. If you're an athlete, what sport would you play? Fire up Winamp. I just soap, I don't know. Probably tonsil hockey.
And now let's exchange the
If I give you a real answer, I'd probably do like one of the like snowboarding or something like that. Skateboarding. I played hockey, I played baseball. Maybe I'd play hockey again. I don't know.
hat. Let's go for a closed hat. And drag it over. If you don't like the sound, you can quickly exchange it using Shift and arrow up or down in your browser while playing the song, so it will automatically exchange like this.
Oh.
Much better. Let's check what we started with. And now here we have very
Okay, we're doing something. That was me. That's the beat. Well, he told me to make this beat, but that's the beat anyways.
very simple, but already much better just after exchanging the samples. Now, let's go and create some hi-hat rolls. FL has a graph editor built in that allows you to quickly do that. Let's open it up, and whatever channel you have marked here, you'll be able to quickly change it. So, for example, you can see that note pitch, it opens up a mini piano roll, right? So exactly the same thing that you would see inside the piano roll if you open that manually. So inside we have this repeat function that allows you to quickly create a cool rolls like this. Let's make it play only the pattern. There are no rules for where to make rolls. You should make it where you think it sounds good, so play around. But one framework that I like to use is change something every 4 beats. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we change something here, 1, 2, 3, 4, we change something here, or if it sounds better somewhere else, let's place 1 repeat over here.
What?
Like that.
What? Okay, that's so sick.
It works because we create a contrast. So in these 3 beats, we create like the fundamental of the hat patterns.
Okay, so I've been just following him, but that's so sick. Listen.
So you get used to kind of this rhythm, then you change something up, so you like tickle the ears, and then you do very similar thing over here, so you keep the same pattern for 2 beats and then change it up at the end. So don't go over the top and don't try to like, place stuff like that. So, for example, here it sounds really nice as well, even though we put the roll in the second beat. But now I would delete the other one to not cramp up the hat with too many rolls. Now, you can, of course, do a little bit different things as well here. Let's go to note pitch, and we had the roll somewhere over here. So let's change the pitch and check what it does. As you can see, we only made this change in the pattern number 3, so we would technically need to go to the pattern 2 and apply those changes.
Is this AI real-time learning? No, it's like a free online course.
As well. However, we can just go to the pattern 3, mark the hat pattern, click Ctrl and C, go to the pattern 2 and paste it. So if you open now the graph, you'll see all the changes applied as well.
Wait, what? That was too quick. I'm stupid.
As you can see, we only made this change in the pattern number 3, so we would technically need to go to the pattern 2 and apply those changes as well. However, we can just go to the pattern 3, mark the hat pattern, click Ctrl and C, go to the pattern 2 and paste it. So,
okay. I don't even think it changed anything. Pattern 3 here. Copy. Why is it working? Okay, I did it. I did it. We're okay.
if you open now the graph, you'll see all the changes applied as well. And the last thing for hats that I think you should know about is the velocity, where varying the velocity of your hats will also bring them to life. So you don't want to sound too robotic. I would put down the velocity of every other one. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if it's not perfect, it's better because it's more human. Right, so we would have something like that, a bit less maybe even. Right, very, very subtle, but creates a simple difference. In the pattern tool, we could also change a little bit of the rolls so that they're not too repetitive. Perfect. Now we can see that we only can have 3 elements and the beat starts to sound pretty good.
Brother, I'm trying so hard.
Perfect. Now we can see that we only can have 3 elements and the beat starts to sound pretty good. Let's add some different elements. For example, perks or rims work very good. Also claps. So perk, rim, clap, something that will put as an additional element to like spice the drum loop up. So let's replace this clap over here. Also, similarly as we've done with hat rolls, we'll make the change somewhere around the 4th beat. So here and here. A very generic pattern is to put the clap off beat on the beat 4 and 5. Now we can change the sound.
I'm lost again. I just keep getting lost.
A generic pattern is to put the clap off beat. Similarly as so let's replace this clap over here. Also similarly as we've done with hat rolls, we'll make the change somewhere around the 4th beat. So here and here. A very generic pattern is to put the clap off beat on the beat 4 and 5. Now we can change the sound.
I'm lost again.
Now we can change the and 5. A very generic pattern is to put the clap off beat on the beat 4 and 5.
Why does he have... And then he does the same thing for 3, I think. Okay, he does. Now we're going to change the sound. The sound he's using for the clap sounds so similar to the sound he's using for the snare that I got confused.
Now we can change the sound. Right, so we have a little bit of variation, the pattern 2 and 3. In drums like this, a lot of the vibe comes from the hats. If we were to exchange the hat and make a pattern where we skip 2 and repeat the pattern, so we now repeat the pattern again and again. We got drill vibes right away. With stuff like drill though, we delay the snare and place it on the 8th beat. Change a little bit of the rolls.
I'm the worst.
So
I can't keep up.
I'm
so dumb, bro.
So perk, rim, clap. Is this clap over to put? Now we can change the sound.
Okay, we're on pattern 2. We're doing rim 40. We're getting rid of 1.
A little bit of variation, the pattern 2 and 3. In drums like this, a lot of the vibe comes from the hats. If we were to exchange the hat and make a pattern where we skip 2 and repeat the pattern, so we now repeat the pattern again and again. We got drill vibes right away with stuff like drill. put as an additional element to like spice. Let's make the chain part. Right, so we have a little bit of variation in the pattern 2 and 3. In drums like this, a lot of the vibe comes from the hats. If we were to exchange the hat and make a pattern where we skip 2 and repeat the pattern, so we now repeat the pattern again and again.
Okay, so okay, I get it. It clicked. It took a second, but it clicked. Holy shit, bro.
Drill vibes right away. With stuff
This
like
is
drill,
hard.
We delay the snare and place it on the 8th beat instead of the 7th, and add one kick drum somewhere at the end as well. So maybe 8th or 7th, or let's do both. Right, so if we are saying on this topic of trap drum,
We're on pattern 2.
it's definitely a good idea to touch slightly upon 808s. So 808 is very similar to bass that we used yesterday, but it got really popular to not use it as an instrument like we used yesterday, Vital, right? But just use a sample as the instrument, which is possible. We can just choose one that we like. Let's drag it over to our playlist and turn on the piano roll. I also change from song to pattern, so you can just try it out. An 808 usually behaves similar to a kick drum. Sometimes people even not use a kick drum at all when they use 808 bass. An 808 bass, depending on what chord progression you made, you also can just simply follow the root progression, but follow also the rhythm of your kick drum. So we have kick drum on the beat number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a 808 here. So let's try it out. It would require some mixing that we'll get into tomorrow. Let's remove that for now and create another pattern, and we'll create some simple ADM drums.
Oh, we're just removing it.
Let's also use some stock drums. First, let's open packs, go to drums, and just choose a kick drum, and just drag them like that. So we had previously kick, snare, closed hat, so you just need a snare. Let's take this one. And for the hats,
I feel like I'm just falling behind. Okay, give me a second. I'll be right back. Give me a second. No, Cosmo. Out. Bro just wants my pizza. Okay, sorry. I'm back. I had to go to the bathroom and I got food. Oh, we're adding a kick.
Let's take this one.
Okay. I don't know where these are. Bro, I'm so lost.
Kick. And just drag them drums. And just choose a kick drum.
Oh.
And just drag them like that. So we had previously kick, snare, closed hat. So you just need a snare. Let's take this one. And for the hats, so we have 3 elements so far. If you hold shift and scroll up, you can change. The placement. So let's put them all the way to the apps so you can clearly see them. And the house drums placement. So let's elements so far. If you hold shift and scroll up, you can change the placement. So let's put them all the way to the apps so you can clearly see them. And the house drums we just make with 4 to the floor beats, so we can just feel each 4 steps. Then we add a clap on beat number 2 and beat number 4. Then we add closed hat every off beat. So every off beat. And then we can also add a percussion element like we had inside the pattern 3, as you can remember. We can do similar thing we've done with the rim. Let's take some percussion element. We'll again place it on off beat, but the problem is that again the drum pattern here is just 1 bar long, and as we remember, at least 2 bars or 4 bars is best, so we can make variations. We can just place an extra kick and make it fill each 4 steps, and it will extend the pattern for 1 extra bar. And for the off percussion element, we'll do it again somewhere at the end, right? So let's place it like again, the drum pattern here is just 1 bar long, and as we remember, at least 2 bars or 4 bars is best, so we can make variations. We can just place an extra kick and make it fill each 4 steps, and it will extend the pattern for 1 extra bar. And for the off percussion, element. We'll do it again somewhere at the end, right? So let's place it like this. Would work if you make it hit just before the next beat. You will create this popular disco effect. We can also introduce some more closed hats that work similarly to our clap that we have here. We'll use a little bit shorter hat to mimic how would real drums work, right? So hi-hat can be opened or closed. That's why we have here open hat, and we can add a closed hat somewhere in between. What we've done is 4 to the floor kick every beat, then every second beat we place a snare or a clap, then every off beat we put an open hat, and then we add a couple of percussion elements on those steps that come just before. Now let's replace those sounds with something from our park. We have
It's so weird having someone else like tell me what beats to make. Like, it's really weird. It's not my style, but I'm trying.
the Prism ADM drums teaser. Let's start with a kick drum. Let's take this one. For the clap, whatever you choose from those packs will be way better than anything else. Then we have our open hat. Let's take this one. Close. Hat. Let's take this one. Sounds good. And for the off perk, let's take some room. Now, before we play this, house drums love swing. What swing does is basically it takes all the notes that are neither on beat or off beat and delays them slightly over by a couple of milliseconds, creating so-called swing. You can enable it here by turning up this knob. We can go with something like 40%.
Like, I'm doing it, I'm just getting lost.
Sounds pretty nice. Let's also add another snare, which is a pretty common tactic to give more punch to your drums, exactly by layering different sounds together, especially claps. You never layer kicks. Sometimes you just can layer claps or open hats or percussion elements just to add more depth. Same thing you can do with the hat. So let's layer it with another one. Same thing you can do with the hat. So let's layer it with another one that ideally sounds a little bit different. So if we layer it with a hat that's brighter, like this one, we'll get an interesting result definitely. You can also pan them a little bit to the left and right. So both layers are not in the same place in your headphones basically. Definitely adds a little bit of excitement, right? This is what we started with, and those were pretty good sounds already. And now this is what we've got by just exchanging with pretty much random samples from the pack. Now you can start improvising with your other instruments. Let's add something very simple like this, just for fun. Basses love offbeat as well, especially in house drums. So you can just make a simple variation like this. Let's mark it and hit Ctrl and B to duplicate it just like this. Hit Ctrl and B. It will duplicate it just like this. As you remember from the hat rolls, we had this velocity. The same thing you'll also find inside the piano roll.
Did I do it right? I don't think I did it right. Why does it sound
Over
different?
Here, in the control section.
What am I doing?
Now you can start improvising with your other instruments. Let's add something very simple like this, just for fun. Basses love offbeat as well, especially in house drums. So you can just make a simple variation like this. Let's mark it and hit Ctrl and B. It will.
Okay, that's why.
Duplicate it just like this. As you remember from the hat rolls, we had this velocity. The same thing you'll also find inside the piano roll over here in the control section. You can also find different parameters like pan, right? So if the note is playing on the left or right ear. And to be honest, I only use note pan or note velocity, never anything else. So with the velocity, we could maybe mark all of those notes that we want to change the velocity for, and holding Alt and scroll down, take them down. Okay, having fun with this, I leave to you. The question you're definitely burning to ask is, how do I know what kind of sound to use? And you know already how
I missed a step.
else. So with the velocity, we could maybe mark all of those notes that we want to change the velocity for, and holding Alt and scroll down, take them down. Okay, having fun with this, I leave to you. Burning to ask is, how do I know what kind of sound to use? And you know already how important that is. Other than getting a high quality sample pack like this one, there's no shortcut to learning how to distinguish what sound is good or bad. The more you practice and compare your music to professional productions, the better you'll become at choosing the right sounds. So there's no shortcut for that other than using a great pack right from the start. Different music styles require different sounds. So keep trying a different sample until it sounds right. And it's much better to have a few great sounds than lots of okay ones. Some producers even reuse the same drum samples throughout their albums constantly. And it's not a bad practice. You should and definitely will build your unique style, and drums are okay to reuse throughout your tracks. Now let's get into a little bit of arrangement. We can already arrange an instrumental as simple as we've got so far. Now let's zoom using Alt and scroll up, and Control, scroll up. This will be how you'll be looking at all of the patterns in arrangement view. So as you can see, we can, for example, choose one pattern to play at the beginning, like this. Right? And then just repeat the pattern. But the problem is that we've cramped everything, all the instruments inside basically two patterns, okay? So to have an easy time making a cool arrangement, the best it would be if we had every element, so every instrument or drum hit, in a separate pattern. Yes, it can get a little bit messier than what we've got so far, but let's deal with it. So the best way is just to go to pattern settings and split by channel. As you can see, it will put up all the elements separately. And what we can also do, since those two patterns, they kind of work as one, what we can do is group them. So we can just mark them and hit surprise, Control and G, okay? We still have the previous ones, as you can see. It just added this new pattern, which basically has both of our patterns of drums. And now we can also go and split it by channel. So now we'll have something like this. So let's tidy it up because it puts all the patterns on top of each other. So now we have kick drum, snare.
Oh.
patterns, they
That's what I wanted. Okay.
pattern settings and split by channel. As you can see, it will put up all the elements separately, and what we can also do, since those two patterns, they kind of work as one, what we can do is group them. So we can just mark them and hit surprise, control and G, okay? We still have the previous ones, as you can see, it just added this new pattern, which basically has both of our patterns of drums. And now we can also go and split it by channel. So now we'll have something like this. So let's tidy it up because it puts all the patterns on top of each other. So now we have kick drum, snare.
Did I lose something? Bro. Okay. We're back.
Our rim element and hats. So to make it pretty, if you want, you can always just rename the tracks or rename just the patterns, right? This is for everyone that just
I don't know how I made it like fat.
scroll up, This will be how you'll be looking at all of the patterns in arrangement view. So as you can see, we can, for example, choose one pattern to play at the beginning like this. Right? And then just repeat the pattern. But the problem is that we've cramped everything, all the instruments inside basically 2 patterns, okay? So to have an easy time making a cool arrangement, the best it would be if we had every element, so every instrument or drum hit, in a separate pattern. Yes, it can get a little bit messier than what we've got so far, but let's deal with it. So the best way is just to go to pattern settings and split by channel. As you can see, it will put up all the elements separately. And what we can also do, since those 2 patterns, they kind of work as one, what we can do is group them. So we can just mark them and hit surprise, Control and G, okay? We still have the previous ones, as you can see. It just added this new pattern, which basically has both of our patterns of drums. And now we can also go and split it by channel. So now we'll have something like this. So let's tidy it up because it puts all the patterns on top of each other. So now we have kick drum, snare, our rim element, and hats. So to make it pretty, because it puts all by channel. So now we'll have something like this. So let's tidy it up. Because it puts all the patterns on top of each other. So now we have kick drum, snare, our rim element, and hats. So to make it pretty, if you want, you can always just rename the tracks or rename just the patterns, right? This is for everyone that just loves beautiful projects. So you can just go right click on the track and rename. So we could call this track kick drum. And now we can choose also a color for it. Accept. If you want, we can also auto name the clips that are inside of this track. So instead of Mix Elite Supreme Kick 1, we'll have just Kick. So if we right click and auto name clips, it will pop up like this. I'll do all of them. So we have green instruments, red.
Why is it earth red? What are we doing? Can I... I wish there was a quicker way to do this. He's probably going to show me in a second.
Drums. All of them. So we have
Oh, I could do it all there. There we go.
green instruments, red drums. Now we'll mark everything and hit Control and B for duplicate. Should be duplicate, right? You can make it however long you want. I think around 2 minutes will be perfect. And now we'll take the mute tool and mute everything we have. Okay? We'll do so-called additive arrangement, where we
Oh.
just add stuff in. We keep the mute tool on, and here is a simple rough overview of how we can start. For the first 4 bars, we have an introduction, because we want our arrangement to work as if we were taking someone by hand, experiencing our song. We don't want to, like, slap everything right away and go for it. We'd like to introduce the mood first and then go slowly. So what we can do to help ourselves is to add some markers. So we know, oh, this is intro, and then we'll have something else. We can add a marker. You can do that by going to playlist options and going to time markers and add one. For 16 first bars, we'll have an intro, and then after 16 bars, we'll have a hook. We have a full in-depth course just about arrangements because it's a very exciting topic. For now, please just follow along. So after another 16 bars, we'll have a verse, let's say. We call it verse or breakdown. Since we are kind of like making a vocal-ish song, we'll name it verse. And now we'll add another hook. No, it doesn't really matter. You could call this verse and this hook and this verse. We just want to differentiate between what will be changing over here. And now here, since we're just finishing, we'll have an outro, okay? If you'd like to make your track longer, then you would basically, for example, take the outro over here, and here would have verse 2, right? But we'll just make it a little bit shorter, because 2 minutes for a track Like this, I think it's enough. And now for the introduction, I like to introduce with just the meat of our track. So our piano, right? Plug is kind of like a lead element, and bass just fills out everything else. For the whole intro, we'll have the piano, of course. And then usually after 4 or 8 bars, we introduce some change. So in the 8th bar, I would introduce plug, and in the 13th bar, I would introduce bass. So we have like it's slowly going up, okay? And then for the hook, we definitely want to go all in with all the drums and all in, of course, with all the elements. Let's play to check what we've got so far. We can also make the track a little bit faster by going to 140, because trap is usually around 140 and not 130. Okay, so together with the bass, we could introduce.
That's cool.
For
What up, homie? Scared the shit out of me. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Everybody awake now? I'm gonna be trying to be streaming like a lot more Zooms.
example, a hat or rim. It doesn't matter. We just like to, instead of going, straight all into the hook, we would introduce one element before, maybe even a kick or even a snare. It doesn't matter. Whatever sounds better to you, but we just want to tease people with the drums. Okay? Maybe hat.
Not gonna lie, I kind of scared myself with that. Yeah.
then for the verse,
I feel like my hi-hat channel is fucked. Yeah, it doesn't have the shit we added before. Oh well, whatever.
let's leave the piano definitely, and maybe all the instruments. Okay, now after those 8 bars, we again need some change. We could also make the change after the first 4 bars, but let's make it after 8 bars. So we'll introduce hat again, and again on the hook we'll have full-blown instrumental, again like this, okay? We can make it with rim. Also, if you want, inside the verse, you can keep one other element that is not in the second half of the verse. That will introduce some contrast.
I don't know how mine got so fucked up.
Would work. I think I'll just keep it like it was before. And then for the outro, let's maybe just leave only the plug and the bass because we want to ease everything out, right? We don't want to abruptly stop with everything like this. Could sound perfectly fine. So when it comes to arranging trap beat like this one we have here, it's a tricky thing because it's vocal focused, right? So it will be up to the person who will be singing or rapping over this beat to decide how long they want to be. So this is a rough arrangement for purpose, so then we can get some vocals on top of this instrumental and decide for the final arrangement. If you're like, hey, Max, I don't want to be figuring out the proper arrangement on my own. I want to have like a proven framework for creating best arrangements. And if you want to hack your way into making arrangements like this, or not even arranging, but producing overall, the trick is to use a reference track. Having a reference track is one of the most powerful strategies to level up quickly. A reference track can be any track that you like a lot that's in the same style as the track you're making. So let's say I have a track that I really like and I will drop it directly from the Explorer. Then let's create a new arrangement so we don't screw up this one. This is also a handy trick. I don't really use it that often, but we can definitely work with this. So let's mute everything, okay? And just using Shift and scroll up, put our track at the very top. First, we need to make sure that this track is in the same BPM as our track. If you've taken a popular track, you can just Google what's the BPM of XYZ, or you can also tap the tempo. So let's play the track and open the tempo tapper, and we'll just tap to the tempo of the sample. So let's play the song. This is the tempo of our track, so we can just close this. You can see that the tempo also changed over here. And let's play the track to check if it's right, together with the metronome.
Nice, that's cool.
You can see that all of those hits line up. So we are good to go. Now what we'll do is first delete all of those markers that we've previously made, because now we'll be adding new markers wherever anything changes in the track. So as you can see, even by the waveform, here we'll have an intro. Let's say just plug. Okay, we'll describe it like that. There was some bass as well, but let's just go on. Now here we have same, just more hats, right? I could also write some percussion. Now here we have hook, definitely. All drums, bass.
I want to fix the bass. I don't like that. 136.
A graph editor built in that allows you to quickly do that. Let's open it up, and whatever channel you have marked here, you'll be able to quickly change it. So, for example, you can see that note pitch, it opens up a mini piano roll, right? So exactly the same thing that you would see inside the piano roll if you open that manually. So inside we have this repeat function that allows you to quickly create a cool rolls like this. Let's make it play only the pattern. There are no rules for where to make rolls. You should make it where you think it sounds good. So play around, but one frame.
Wait, why is it not working? What? Oh, is it because it's muted for that part? No, I don't understand. Oh, okay. I'm just dumb. Surprise, surprise.
Let's go to note pitch.
Let's not and say we did.
You can, of course, do a little bit different things as well here. Let's go to note pitch, and we have the roll somewhere over here. So let's change the pitch and check what it does. see, we only made this change in the pattern number 3, so we would technically need to go to the pattern 2 and apply those changes as well. However, we can just go to the pattern 3, mark the hot pattern, click Ctrl and C, go to the pattern 2 and paste it. So if you open now the graph, you'll see all the changes applied as well. And the last thing for hats that I think you should know about is the velocity, where varying the velocity of your hats
Why is that happening that often? Okay, let's see how it sounds. Oh, shit. I kind of want to turn the hats down. fuck is this? What is fucking, bro? It's getting too late and I'm getting frustrated with shit. Figure that out later. Okay. Well.
vocal focused, right? So it will be up to the person who will be singing or rapping over this beat to decide how long they want it to be. So this is a rough arrangement for a purpose, so then we can get some vocals on top of this instrumental and decide for the final arrangement. If you're like, hey, Max, I don't want to be figuring out the proper arrangement on my own. I want to have like a proven framework for creating best arrangements. And if you want to hack your way into making arrangements like this, or not even arranging, but producing overall, the trick is to use a reference track. Having a reference. So
okay, so we're already doing this.
you can see that all of those hits line up. So we are good to go. Now what we'll do is first delete all of those markers that we've previously made, because now we'll be adding new markers wherever anything changes in the track. So as you can see, even by the waveform, here we'll have an intro. Let's say just pluck. Okay, we'll describe it like that. There was some bass as well, but let's just go on. Now here we have same, just more hats, right? I could also write some percussion. Now here we have hook, definitely. All drums, bass, and all instruments.
I'm gonna have to watch this over tomorrow too. Your hat looks accurate. Thanks. Discount Adam Levine.
A slight change in instruments, but
I actually don't even know what to say to that because it's such a shit insult. But I mean, you tried, I guess. You tried. Like we talked about before, we just want participation in class. So even if you say something that the other classmates think is dumb, you're still going to get your gold star for the day, all right? Don't worry. Your mom won't be mad.
everything stays the same. Just pluck, and then at the end we have all again. Okay, this track is actually a loop I've made previously. It's not perfectly arranged. I just took it so you can check that this is how it can be done. Then you can just remove the song, speed it up to whatever it was before over here, and then just follow your notes. So intro, we had just pluck, so we can just enable the pluck. With hats.
See why?
Right, and this is how you could just go by with hats.
This guy here sounds off. Why though? Velocity is a little lower there. Did it really? What are we hitting? That's so weird. I think I hurt that guy's feelings.
right? And this is how you could just go by following your notes. If you go with the technique we started with, which is additive arrangement, right? We copied everything, muted it, and then started to add in
I'm
real
not gonna lie,
time.
I don't even know what's going on anymore. There's only like 2 more
what we
minutes
think
left in
should
this
come, you
lesson,
will
and I'm
definitely
gonna have
get
to go
pretty cool
over it
results,
again
and
tomorrow,
this
so
will
I'm just
also
gonna
be
play it
unique
out.
to you, and you will not be influenced by any other tracks and maybe define your unique style. The last thing when it comes to arrangement is using some effects like transitions and sweep downs and sweep ups. So cool thing about the playlist is those kind of effect samples or symbols we can drag directly into our playlist. So let's choose one and drag it over. We can place it wherever our hook starts, right? So we have something like this right now. Sounds pretty awful because it's way too loud. To change that, you remember in channel rack we had this knob to change the volume, but now you
Hey,
can
that's
see
me.
everything disappeared from the channel rack. That's because we've added audio into the playlist. To open what we had previously, for example in hats, you would need to go and change the view from audio to all, for example, and you'll see all of the instruments you've added. Yes, you could change the volume in the channel rack because channel rack contains all the files that you've brought to your project. Always anything you put in, whether it's through the browser directly to the playlist or an instrument or a sample directly into channel rack, it always shows it if you put it on all. So yes, we can change the volume of this crash here, but you can also just double click on the waveform and it will show you this sampler. It has a couple of options, but the most important for now that we are interested in is the volume. You can just take it down. Right, now let's take some effects. We can place it at the beginning of the track. And also make it way quieter. We can also use another one, make it quieter. You could also use those handles over here that allow you to fade in the sample. So we can place it a little bit earlier so it nicely fades in like a filter. As you can see, I'm all the time using Control and Alt.
No.
Alt. I'm keeping my hands on Control and Alt and my scroll wheel at all times so I can quickly zoom in and zoom out. And whenever I want to change where the song plays from, I'm just changing it on the timeline. So for today's homework, I want you to create at least one pattern in trap or ADM style, just as we created today, that fits into the loop you've created on day 2. Then play around with different samples from today's pack to see which one fits best. You need to trust your guts here. Then put all of them into the playlist, split the patterns by channel, please color code, it will be much less overwhelming, and then create a very simple structure using the additive arrangement trick I showed you today, where every 8 or 16 bars you add different elements. Today we're going to take quite a leap.
Okay. Well, today was quite a leap, so anyways, I'm gonna call it there. Thanks for chilling. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm tired, so I'm gonna call it. Thanks for chilling. No outro today because I'm just fucking tired. So I'll be back on tomorrow. Sorry, Alien. That's my bad. I wasn't reading chat. Hi. How are you doing? How was your day? My day was good. I'm just tired. Have a good night, though, Alien. Have a good night, King Snake. I'll be back on tomorrow, guys. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for chilling. I hope you guys had a good night. And, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. No outro tonight. We're just calling it. But, I'll be live again tomorrow. All right? Cool. Peace.